Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with you through until 4 o'clock. And joining us in the studio now, he's on a little break from life with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is Louis Rees-Zammit. Louis, good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys as well.
Yeah. So you got 4 weeks off?
4 weeks off. Still got to train and, maintain my body, but excuse me. But we got 4 weeks off and then into training camp, so pretty busy.
So they sort of they trust you to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Are they monitoring you? You're having conversations, or nobody's flying over?
Yeah, we've got like an app on our phones.
Right.
Gym sessions, training sessions. Just got to
like Big Brother.
Yeah.
But when you say you've had 4 weeks off, surely the American football season ends in, it depends how well you've done, but roughly January. And then what do you do after that? Are you still training, still working at it?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're always working on skills.
Oh, right.
Everything.
Yeah.
But we had like a 10-week mini training camp, new coaches, so implementing systems and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we get these 4 weeks just to refresh the body a little bit before obviously going into training camp, and then it goes straight into the season. So it's about to be really busy.
I did set up Lewis's story before the break, but if you've just joined us, Lewis played for Wales and British and Irish Lions, and we'll come on to that a little bit later on. But he decided to try his hand in the NFL, and he's now at Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you're still there, which is good, because a lot of people have tried and not done it. It's a really hard thing to do for anybody who isn't American.
Is it harder than you thought it would be?
Yeah, so it is very hard.
Yeah.
Like competing with boys that have played the sport since such a young age. But, I mean, it was my dream, so I'm really excited and I'm glad to still be there.
We spoke to Christian Wade when he went out, and when he came back after a spell there, he said the playbook side of it was the hardest, because the people you're playing with, by osmosis, they've just been living with it since they were about 6 or 7 years old.
College as well.
Yeah. And you've got to play catch up. You've got all these play. I mean, how many plays do you have to learn, would you say?
There's probably about 500.
Wow.
Yeah, you go into a game with about 150.
Wow,
so it's very tough.
Did you get them wrong sometime? I mean,
players, you do get them wrong. I mean, this is why you have training camp and you have these past 10 weeks to kind of make your mistakes before heading into the season, because when you're playing a regular season game, you can't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
How does the hit feel compared to rugby union? So when you're tackled in rugby union compared to being tackled in NFL?
It's pretty similar, to be honest, because although you got pads and a helmet on, everyone hits as hard as they can. Obviously, rugby is very much technique, because if you tried to do the same in the NFL, you'd knock yourself out in rugby. So it's very more technical in rugby, but you also see the big hits in the NFL. So personally, I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
They hurt both as much as each other.
I take it a lot of your teammates are kind of intrigued as much as you are about the way they play and what they do. They must be asking you questions about rugby and how you do things in that sport.
Yeah, it's very much known that, when they think playing without pads is crazy.
Right.
So, I mean, it is pretty crazy, but obviously there's a lot of technique that comes with it. So,
both sports have gone through a transition around high tackles and everything.
Yeah.
Both are aware of that.
Protecting the head.
Yeah, they've changed rules. Obviously, in rugby, I don't think you can go. You have to go below the sternum now.
Yeah.
In American football, you can't target the head, which is obvious. But back in the day, you see big hits to the head. So they're always changing the rules just to help player safety and all of that kind of stuff. So
are you bigger now? I mean, looking big. Are you bigger now as an NFL player than you were as a rugby player?
Yeah, it's probably just because purely the conditioning.
Yeah.
Obviously, in rugby, you got to be very fit and be able to last 80 minutes. But in the NFL, it's short, sharp sprints.
Yeah.
It's obviously less conditioning. So
how do you feel if you were taking this physique back into rugby, say, tonight in Dublin?
I'd probably struggle. I wouldn't be able to last a full game.
Wow, really?
No, I'd be good for 20 minutes.
That's interesting.
Are you a wide receiver? Or?
Yeah, wide receiver.
That's interesting, because you played on the wing, didn't you? For a while?
Yeah.
And did you think about being a running back? Is it because are the skills more akin to a wide receiver? Or?
I mean, you can use your speed more in playing as a wide receiver, but running back is a lot easier to just kind of hand the ball to you, allow you to try and break a hole, beat a defender. They're two very different positions. But for me, because of my speed and stuff, I think wide receiver was the position for me.
Have you tried kicking? Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
Because the ball's completely different, isn't it?
It is. It's just smaller. It's a bit heavier than a rugby ball. I did a bit of kicking last year, did a few kickoffs, which was quite fun. But yeah, the rugby ball's just lighter and bigger. So
where are you at in the sort of team environment at the moment? I've seen the general manager saying you're going to get your chance. So, I mean, you just got to keep working.
Yeah, just basically keep working, try and make as few mistakes as possible, because ultimately that is it. Like, the more mistakes you make, the less chance you got of making the team. So, yeah, just got to continue to focus on learning all the plays and then executing them, because there's one thing learning them, but then they call it in the huddle, and within 2 seconds you got to know exactly what you're doing. So that's the biggest thing. Has
it been a welcoming environment? Have you been pleased about the kind of welcome you've had in the dressing room?
Yeah, for sure.
Locker room, sorry.
Yeah, the locker room.
Definitely.
All the boys are so helpful, to be fair, which is
good.
Amazing for me, because never played the sport before.
Yeah.
Before last year, so they're great boys. Very different to rugby. I think the culture's different, but at the same time, I'm loving the differences and kind of learning both. So the boys have been very helpful for me.
Are Jacksonville coming over here this autumn?
Yeah,
they're coming over October. We got one game against the Rams, so doing it in Wembley.
Wembley. Okay.
Yeah,
Tottenham. Okay.
That's become the sort of unofficial home, isn't it? I mean, the Jaguars have been playing at Wembley for the most of the time.
Yeah, last year we had 2 games, one in Tottenham, one in Wembley. This year we just got one in Wembley. So.
Yeah. Have there been any players you've played NFL with so far you thought he'd be a good rugby player?
Yeah. I mean, they're all athletes.
Yeah.
They've all got great skills. They're all fast, strong. I don't know what positions they play. You obviously have the big boys that would be good sack and rowers.
Yeah.
It's just about the conditioning, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, boys, the plays last 3 to 4 seconds. So
the Holmes wouldn't be any good. He'd been penalised for a forward pass.
Yeah. It wouldn't be good.
It would definitely be a change-up.
Yeah. Now, you got first pick in the draft. There was this real buzz about Travis Hunter, and I don't know if you've had a chance to sort of catch up with him yet or watch him at work, but he sounds like a player, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he is for sure. He's been in for the past 8 weeks, so we've got to see a lot of him.
Yeah.
On the field,
there's a lot of pressure on him, isn't there? Because when you're first pick and there's all this expectation, he's being interviewed constantly, a lot of hype around him.
It is, but he's full of confidence and belief. He's an unbelievable player. Off the field as well, he's great for the locker room.
Yeah.
He's energetic, just loves football, and that's kind of what you want in one of your teammates. He's going to work really hard, and he's showing it. He's been showing it for the past 8 weeks, and it's great to have him.
And I suppose because you don't want someone who's in your position. Ideally, I'm sure the guys sit around saying, "Oh, we get him in the draft. We get him. I've seen him at college." But you don't really want somebody in your position, do you? Ideally,
you don't know. But as long as he's going to help the team, then ultimately that's all that matters.
He's a two-way player. He can play offensively and defensively.
He's done that a fair few times.
It's harder in the NFL to do that.
Yeah, it's way harder. Just mainly because learning an offense is hard enough.
Yeah.
And then he has to go and learn the defensive side of it. But I'm sure he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
He's a talented kid.
And what about, living in Wales to living in Florida? How have you found the transition? It's warmer, I'm guessing.
It's a lot
and
warmer.
Not as wet.
Yeah. I mean, they do have storms very often.
Right, yeah,
You'll have like an hour of rain and then it'll be sunshine again. But yeah, I've always loved Florida. That was our family holiday growing up. Yeah. So we did that every year pretty much. So to be able to live there now is great.
Yeah.
My family came over with me, so that made it 10 times easier. I just focus on football. Don't have to worry about anything else. But yes, I mean, Florida's amazing.
What did the boys think of coming over to the UK? We've had quite a few when there's NFL games over here. The NFL put up players normally, and we have a chat.
But they're so good in the media. The
media training is very good. But I just wondered do they think, oh man, we're in London next week, or do they kind of quite like the fact they can go and play overseas in games?
Oh no, they love that. It's something different from obviously there's different fans. The Jags have got a really good fan base over here.
Yeah.
So it's great for us to be able to kind of connect with them. But all the boys, a lot of them have never been overseas. They've never been across the pond. So it's great for them because their families go out with them. They get to experience London. But yeah, there's a couple of boys that are here today with me, and they're obviously from the Jags. They're from America, and I mean, they absolutely love London.
Well, we're going to come on to what you're doing in London today a bit later on, but we want to talk Lions and a bit of Wales in a few moments' time. Louis Rees-Zammit is with us in the studio of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and of course, formerly of Wales and the Lions. What is it like to look after Bill when you're in a Lions camp, the mascot? We'll get a few war stories from that. And we'll look ahead to tonight. It's live on talkSPORT, the only place you can hear the Lions tour down under. And tonight's warm-up game in Dublin is with us on talkSPORT. We'll chat more with us in a few moments' time. Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, Louis Rees-Zammit with us in the studio. We're chatting about Dan Bigger, who often joins us on the show. He was a good mate of yours in the Wales camp and has just called it a day. And we'll come on to the Lions, Louis, but it's been a tough old time for Wales, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure you've been watching a lot of rugby from over in the States, so it must have been quite a tough watch.
It is. And it's one where I don't know how we kind of get back to winning. I mean, I think it's really good this summer going to Japan, fresh start. We've only got 2 Lions, so a lot of the group is going to be stuck together for the next however many weeks. So I think it'll be good for us. Obviously, coaching wise, Matt Sharrett's there. Is he going to get the permanent job? Not sure. But at least those group of boys will be stuck together for, a few weeks, heading into a couple games against Japan. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
And there's always going to be a difficult period. You lose people like Dan and Alan Wynne and stuff. It was always going to be a transitional period. But maybe nobody probably thought it was going to be quite as tough as this.
No, and I think it was because all of those boys left at the same time.
Yeah.
We didn't really have kind of people coming in straight away. It was almost like, right, step into their shoes. And that's probably the hardest thing to do, especially with those boys, because they were so good for Wales for so many years. But as I said, I think now, 16 losses in a row, 14, 16 losses in a row. I think now is the perfect time to kind of have a fresh start.
How supportive were people in Welsh rugby and sort of teammates and friends and fans that spoke to you about this transition at NFL?
Yeah, they were very supportive, and I couldn't ask for better support from them, because obviously it was a big shock to most people that I was going to go do it. So
because it's risk, because you excel in one sport, you're very good at it, you went to the very top of it playing for your country and for the Lions, and you're taking I wouldn't call it a punt because you're not a kicker, but you're taking a big risk reputationally to go out there and try something, and you're sort of risking a failure, which is quite tough.
Yeah, but at the same time, I obviously weighed that up, making the decision. I also did it at an age where I was 22 at the time. International players probably get about 2 to 3 years to make it in the NFL, so I wanted to do it at a time that I maybe could come back to rugby. So I'm 24 now, probably got one more year to try and make it, 1 to 2 more years. Depend on how this year goes. I'll be 25, 26 going back to rugby, and I'd like to think I can still play at the highest level. And
do you think if you do go back to rugby, do you think what you've learned in the NFL will hold you in good stead, will give you a different dimension?
100%. Like I've learned so many different movements that I never even thought about in rugby. Obviously the way you train is so much different, but I think that would help me massively. When I was playing rugby, I went to America twice to train, and the things I learned there, I knew straight away would help my game. And now having 2 years of it, I think if I did have to go back, I think I'll definitely be able to, excel again.
Yeah.
Physically, are you bigger now than you were when you were playing rugby?
You can see that.
Yeah,
You definitely see that. Yeah. So onto the Lions then, and you were 19 when you got
19.
the call to play in 2019. Was that right?
It was 2020. It was 2021.
2021. Sorry. Yeah. But you were 19 years old.
I was, 19 or 20.
Yeah. So you got a bit like Henry Pollard as the kid. You were given Bill to look after the stuffed lion, and which sounds like a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But he's talked about putting a little Apple tracker on it, and they've said they'll fine him. He'll get in trouble if he does. So, did you lose it?
Oh, I lost it many times.
And do the other players make sure they sort of hide it somewhere so they make sure you lose it?
Oh yeah, like I'll be training, and I mean I can't look at it at all times. It's on the side of the field. Next minute, it's in the top of a tree somewhere. That was the kind of thing that was happening to me. But I got friendly with the security team, so they were giving me hints on where it was ending up.
And you get fines, don't you? If it's lost.
You get fines, and all the boys are trying to do is hide it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen videos already of Henry Bundyaki hiding in the corner of the gym. So it's gonna be tough to him or for him. But yeah, I wouldn't. If he's going to put a tracker in there, just don't tell anyone.
No. I think volunteering it probably wasn't a great idea.
No. Don't make it out loud.
No.
Also, I do want to ask you about, because we see a lot in rugby about how much they respect the referee. Mm-hmm. Is it the same in American football? How is the attitude from the players to the officials compared to rugby?
Well, you get fined.
Right.
So
I know in baseball it's so strict now.
Yeah.
That if you even just sort of just even look at the umpire, throw you out the gate.
Yeah, like flags get thrown, 15-yard penalty, and then you'll get a fine after the game. So you don't want to answer back to the referees in American football.
Yeah. So it's only football left.
It's only football that you see swearing at referees.
Yeah, well, if you put cameras on him, it probably wouldn't happen.
No,
but
you'd see Wayne Rooney back in the day screaming at the refs.
The trouble, they worry about the reputation of the sport, but players probably wouldn't do it as much, because I'm sure you've played in a game of rugby and you've watched the highlights back or watched it back and thought, I look a bit of a Burke doing that, I should have kept quiet. I mean, every player does, and it stops you doing it again, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's frustration, and sometimes you take it out on the referee, but you don't need to.
No.
And that's why in the sports in America, you get fined and you get penalised within the game. Like, you don't want to have a 15-yard penalty and that'll affect your team. So
in the build-up to the Lions, we've got Joe Schmidt, the Australia coach, getting stuck in now Southern Hemisphere Centre Partnership. So the war of words has started.
Yeah. Even we said that, though. You saw the players.
It's an element of that. But still, they're all there in the same shirts. What was it like being on a Lions tour? You were a very young lad, but you knew about the sort of honour of putting on that shirt, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did. And, it was one of the greatest achievements of my career. Obviously, mine was in COVID, so it wasn't the same. Like, fans weren't allowed out there, so we were stuck in a hotel for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We could only spend time with each other pretty much.
Yeah.
And obviously that series was really tight. Won the first test and then ended up losing the last two. But it wasn't, like, I obviously heard stories from previous and it obviously wasn't the same.
No.
So I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but when you hear stories of, going to interact with the fans and going over to South Africa, which is meant to be one of the best ones, and then we go over there and you can't leave your hotel room. You're getting COVID tested every day.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the same.
It's a very difficult time for sports.
Sure.
It was. But at least I got to experience what it was like to kind of pull on a Lions jersey and and represent them.
Sure. I'm sure the NFL teammates don't quite get the concept of the Lions because, I mean, they have the All-Star game, but it's, but you can't go full bore in that. They can't, can they really? But, so, I mean, the idea of a bunch of teams coming, a division, say, coming together and playing together, it's quite alien to them, I would think.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't have much idea. They wouldn't have much idea on the Lions tour.
Yeah.
They think it's really cool, but obviously America's one big
of course
country, whereas we got little or smaller countries together. So it is a really cool idea from them or what they think. But it's just something that it can't be done over there.
Of course not. And you feeling pretty confident about Lions versus Australia? I mean, you imagine they look to be the better team on paper, but who knows? Yeah,
it is one of them. If they get the team right, if they get the centre partnership right, I think Finn Russell coming off last weekend's game.
Yeah.
At 9, who's going to play 9? Thomas Williams or Gibson Park? Thomas obviously got Premiership Player of the Year. I think if they get that back line right, because the forwards are so strong, I think Ireland obviously have been pretty dominant for the past few Six Nations.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see them losing if they play really well together. But Australia,
sure,
you can't rule them out.
No, proud sporting nation.
Yeah.
You're off to Fulham tonight because the Jags and Fulham share an owner, don't you, Shah Khan? So the new stand, you're going to be there tonight. They got the pool on the top, but you've got that at Jacksonville, haven't you, as well?
It must be a theme. So we got the 2 infinity pools on one of our stands, and obviously Fulham, the new stand's got one as well, so it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, you've not been there before. You've not been to the cottage before. So it is a lovely old ground. It's a great spot.
Yeah, never been. My brother's been once. He went with Cardiff City away in 2013, I think it was, when they were in the Prem, and he saw a 94th minute winner, Jordan Much.
Is that your team too?
No, Manchester
United's my team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cardiff's my local team, so whenever they ended up going to the Premiership, we'd be able to watch the games and stuff. But I've never been to Craven Cottage, so it's going to be good.
And Manchester United, onwards and upwards, you feeling a bit more optimistic?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I think a full pre-season with Amorim, signings. Ultimately, we need signings that's going to suit his system because...
Gone by November.
Don't be like that, Andy.
You never know. You never know in football.
It might be all right. It's one of those. If it carries on like last year, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, it will. But if he's got players that'll suit his system, Cunha's going to be... I think he's going to be a great signing for us. And then whether we get Mbuemo and a striker, I think they're the 2 positions that we're going to need.
And finally, next sport to try, football. T got a tennis top on there. I saw you talking to Jack Draper on the telly the other day.
You're
a good tennis player?
No. Table tennis.
Oh, table tennis.
We have that in the locker room, and
it's not much money in table tennis.
That's the issue. That's the issy.
Well, it's lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
and
good
we wish
to
you
meet
all
you
the
guys
very
as well.
best. And enjoy Fulham tonight. And best of luck for the rest of the season with the Jags.
Thank you very much.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.